The vast expanse of space echoed with laughter. Not the warm, friendly kind, but the mocking, cruel type that made humans feel small and insignificant. Across the galaxy, advanced alien races chuckled at the mere thought of Earth and its inhabitants. To them, humans were nothing more than primitive apes who had barely managed to leave their own planet. The Zorgans, with their shimmering tentacles and hyper-advanced technology, found it particularly amusing. Their supreme leader, Tylop the Magnificent, often entertained his court by showing holograms of human attempts at space travel. "Look at these creatures," Tylop would say, his tentacles waving in amusement. "They think their rockets are impressive. How quaint." The Blurbans, a race of energy beings who had long ago abandoned physical forms, shared in the mockery. They zipped through the cosmos, leaving trails of stardust in their wake, and occasionally paused to observe Earth through their quantum telescopes. "Did you see?" one Blurban would say to another. "They still used fossil fuels. Can you imagine?" Even the Grax, known throughout the galaxy as the most benevolent of species, couldn't help but shake their heads in pity when they thought of humans. They saw Earth as a sort of galactic zoo exhibit, interesting to watch, but not to be taken seriously. But while the rest of the galaxy laughed, something was stirring on Earth, in underground labs, hidden bunkers, and secret facilities across the planet. Human scientists were hard at work. They toiled day and night, fueled by a determination that would have surprised their alien mockers. Dr. Emily Chen, a brilliant physicist from MIT, stared at her computer screen, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep. Lines of complex equations filled the display, numbers and symbols that seemed to dance and shift as she watched. She rubbed her temples, fighting off a headache. "We're close," she muttered to herself. "So close." In another part of the world, deep in the Amazon rainforest, Professor João Silva tinkered with a machine that looked like a cross between a satellite dish and a child's science fair project. Sweat dripped from his brow as he carefully adjusted a series of delicate crystals. "Just a little more," he whispered, his hand steady despite the humidity. And in a frozen wasteland in Antarctica, Dr. Yuki Tanaka huddled in a high-tech igloo, surrounded by screens showing data from deep space. Her eyes widened as she noticed a pattern in the cosmic background radiation. "It can't be," she gasped. But it is. These scientists, and hundreds more like them, were all working towards the same goal. They were unraveling a secret that the rest of the universe thought impossible for humans to comprehend: the mystery of the seventh dimension. While the alien races laughed and mocked, humanity had stumbled upon something extraordinary. It had started as a theoretical concept, a mathematical curiosity. But as the brightest minds on Earth delved deeper, they realized they were onto something big, something that could change everything. The project was known only to a select few. World leaders had been briefed in utmost secrecy. They knew that if word got out, if the galactic community realized what humans were up to, the laughter might quickly turn to fear, or worse. So they worked in silence, letting the rest of the universe underestimate them. Every snicker from a Zorgan, every dismissive wave of a Blurban's energy field, only fueled their determination. Little did the galaxy know, but the cosmic chuckle was about to catch in their throats. Humanity, those primitive apes with their quaint rockets and fossil fuels, were on the verge of unlocking power beyond imagination. As Dr. Chen finally cracked the code she'd been working on for months, as Professor Silva's machine hummed to life with an otherworldly glow, as Dr. Tanaka's discovery confirmed their wildest hopes, a new era was dawning. The humans were coming. And soon, very soon, the laughter would stop. As the galactic community continued to chuckle at humanity's expense, whispers began to spread among Earth's scientific circles. The breakthrough that Dr. Chen, Professor Silva, and Dr. Tanaka had made was too big to keep completely secret. Like a pebble dropped in a still pond, the ripples of their discovery spread outward. At first, it was just hushed conversations in university hallways, a raised eyebrow here, a knowing nod there. Then, Encrypted messages started flying across the globe, bouncing from server to server, each carrying fragments of an idea too large for any one mind to fully grasp. The seventh dimension, a concept so mind-bending that most humans couldn't even begin to comprehend it. But for those who could, it represented power beyond imagination. Dr. Aisha Mahmoud, a brilliant mathematician from Cairo, was one of the first to be brought into the fold. She sat in her small office, surrounded by whiteboards covered in equations, her eyes wide as she video chatted with Dr. Chen. "Are you sure about this, Emily?" Aisha asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily nodded, her face serious on the screen. "We've triple-checked everything. It's real, Aisha, and we need your help to take it further." Across the world, similar conversations were taking place. Dr. Vikram Patel, a quantum physicist in Mumbai, found himself pulled into a late-night meeting with government officials. They spoke in hushed tones about Project Seventh Heaven and the need for absolute secrecy. In a small town in Russia, Anna Petrova, a young prodigy who had been quietly revolutionizing string theory, received a mysterious package. Inside was a single sheet of paper with complex calculations and a burner phone. When she solved the equation, the phone rang. "Welcome to the team," the voice said on the other end. As more brilliant minds joined the project, progress accelerated. What had once seemed impossible now felt tantalizingly close. In hidden labs and secret facilities, new machines were built, pushing the boundaries of known physics. But keeping such a massive undertaking completely hidden was impossible. Despite their best efforts, rumors began to spread beyond Earth. On the planet Zircon, home of the Zorgons, a low-level data analyst named Blurp noticed an unusual pattern in Earth's energy consumption. It was subtle, but there were spikes that couldn't be explained by normal human activity. Blurp tentatively raised his concerns to his superior, who laughed and patted him on the head with a tentacle. "Oh, Blurp," the superior chuckled. "You worry too much. What could those primitive humans possibly be doing that would cause such readings? Probably just fired up too many of their quaint microwave ovens at once." But Blurp couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He started digging deeper, collecting more data, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. Meanwhile, on the energy planet of the Blurbans, a curious fluctuation was detected in the fabric of space-time. It was brief, barely a blip, but it caught the attention of the Elder Council. "Most peculiar," one elder mused, its form shimmering with concern. "It almost felt like, but no, that's impossible." "What is it, Wise One?" a younger Blurban asked. The elder's energy pulsed thoughtfully. "For a moment, I thought I sensed a disturbance in the higher dimensions. But surely, no race in this galaxy has that capability. It must have been a cosmic hiccup." The younger Blurban accepted this explanation, but the elder remained troubled. Something was changing in the universe, and for the first time in eons, the Blurbans felt a twinge of uncertainty. Back on Earth, oblivious to the ripples they were causing across the galaxy, the human scientists pressed on. In a converted warehouse in Detroit, a team led by Dr. Jason Wong worked tirelessly on a device that defied conventional understanding. It looked like a mess of wires, crystals, and pulsing energy fields. But to those who understood it, it was the key to unlocking the seventh dimension. As Jason made a final adjustment, the device hummed to life. For a split second, reality itself seemed to bend. In that moment, every scientist in the room felt a connection to something vast and incomprehensible. Jason looked at his team, a mix of awe and determination on his face. "We did it," he said softly. "This is just the beginning." Little did they know, their actions had not gone unnoticed. Across the stars, eyes were turning towards Earth. The cosmic chuckle was about to turn into a gasp of disbelief. As whispers of the seventh dimension spread among Earth's scientific community, a new phase of the project began. It was time to move from theory to practice, from equations on a whiteboard to a physical manifestation of humanity's greatest achievement. In a massive underground facility beneath the Nevada desert, Construction of the seventh dimension vessel started in earnest. The complex buzzed with activity, a hive of human ingenuity and determination. Dr. Emily Chen stood at the heart of it all, her eyes gleaming with excitement as she watched workers assemble components that shouldn't exist according to conventional physics. Beside her, Professor Joao Silva fiddled nervously with a handheld device, monitoring energy fluctuations. "It's really happening, Joao," Emily said, her voice filled with awe. "We're building a ship that can traverse dimensions." Joao nodded, a bead of sweat rolling down his forehead. "Yes, but at what cost? The power requirements alone are staggering. And the risks." His words were cut short by a sudden tremor that shook the facility. Alarms blared as scientists and workers scrambled to stabilize their equipment. In the center of the main chamber, a half-built structure that looked like a cross between a spaceship and a cathedral organ pulsed with an otherworldly light. "Containment field holding at 82%. A voice called out over the intercom. "Power fluctuations stabilizing." Emily gripped Joao's arm. "See, we can handle it. Humanity has come too far to back down now." As the days turned into weeks, the vessel slowly took shape. Its hull was made of materials that defied classification, able to withstand the unimaginable stresses of interdimensional travel. The engine room housed technology that made Earth's most advanced supercomputers look like abacuses in comparison. But progress didn't come without setbacks. During one test, a junior engineer named Sarah Rodriguez made a miscalculation that nearly caused a catastrophic breach in the fabric of space-time. Quick thinking by Dr. Yuki Tanaka saved the day, but the incident left everyone shaken. "We're playing with forces we barely understand," Yuki warned at the next staff meeting. "One wrong move and we could tear a hole in reality itself." Despite the dangers, the project pressed on. The world's governments, now fully aware of what was at stake, poured resources into the effort. Top minds from every field were recruited, sworn to secrecy, and brought to the Nevada facility. As news of the project spread, it became harder to keep it completely under wraps. Conspiracy theories began to circulate on the internet. Blurry photos of strange lights in the Nevada sky popped up on social media. Most people dismissed these as hoaxes or the ramblings of crackpots, but a few came uncomfortably close to the truth. In space, the alien races began to take notice. Blurp, the Zorgan data analyst, had finally convinced his superiors to take his findings seriously. A task force was assembled to investigate the strange energy signatures coming from Earth. The Blurbans, too, were growing increasingly concerned. Their elder council spent long hours in deep meditation, trying to probe the mysteries of the higher dimensions and understand what the humans were up to. Even the Grax, in their infinite benevolence, began to wonder if they had underestimated humanity. They sent a stealth probe to the solar system, watching and waiting. Back on Earth, oblivious to the growing alien interest, the humans worked tirelessly. The vessel was nearly complete, its sleek form dominating the underground hangar. Dr. Jason Wong stood before it, running his hand along its smooth surface. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a voice said behind him. He turned to see Aisha Mahmood, the mathematician from Cairo. Jason nodded. "It's more than beautiful. It's our future." Aisha's expression turned serious. "And potentially our doom." "Jason, the equations. There's still so much uncertainty. Are we ready for this power?" Before Jason could answer, an alarm blared through the facility. Red lights flashed as panicked voices echoed over the intercom. "Unidentified object entering Earth's atmosphere. It's on a direct course for Nevada." Jason and Aisha exchanged a look of shock and fear. Had they been discovered? Was Earth about to face the wrath of an advanced alien civilization? As chaos erupted around them, one thing became clear: ready or not, humanity's great leap into the unknown was about to be put to the test. The alarm blared through the Nevada facility as scientists and engineers scrambled to their stations. Dr. Emily Chen rushed to the control room, her heart pounding in her chest. On the main screen, a blinking red dot showed the approaching unidentified object. "Status report. she barked as she entered. Dr. Vikram Patel looked up from his console, his face pale. "It's definitely of alien origin, Emily. But it's not a ship. It's some kind of probe." Emily's mind raced. They weren't ready for this. The seventh dimension vessel was nearly complete, but they hadn't run a full test yet. She made a split-second decision. "Initiate emergency startup sequence for the vessel," she ordered. Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Professor Joao Silva stepped forward, his eyes wide with concern. "Emily, we can't. It's not ready. We don't know what might happen." "We don't have a choice," Emily replied firmly. "If that probe reports back to its makers, we lose our advantage. We need to show them what we're capable of." As the facility buzzed with frantic activity, the vessel's engines hummed to life. In the hangar, Dr. Jason Wong and Dr. Aisha Mahmood worked furiously to stabilize the power core. "Containment field at 95% and holding," Aisha called out. Jason nodded, his fingers flying over the control panel. "Initiating dimensional fold in 3, 2, 1. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself appeared to ripple. The air shimmered like a mirage in the desert, and everyone in the facility felt a strange sensation, as if they were suddenly viewing the world from multiple angles at once. In orbit, the alien probe's sensors went haywire. It detected energy readings that defied its advanced technology, patterns in space-time that shouldn't be possible for a primitive species to create. Back on the Zorgan homeworld, Blurp the data analyst watched in disbelief as his monitors exploded with information. "Impossible," he muttered, his tentacles trembling. The Blurbans felt it too. Across their energy planet, billions of Blurbans simultaneously experienced a moment of dimensional vertigo. The Elder Council convened an emergency session, their usual calm demeanor replaced by genuine alarm. Even the benevolent Grax, observing from afar, found themselves reevaluating their understanding of the universe. The humans had done something that was supposed to be impossible. Back in Nevada, the initial test lasted only a few seconds, but its effects rippled across the cosmos. As the vessel powered down, an eerie silence fell over the facility. Emily looked around the control room, taking in the mix of awe and fear on her colleagues' faces. "Did it work?" she asked quietly. Dr. Yuki Tanaka nodded, her eyes fixed on her readings. "It did more than work, Emily. We just rewrote the laws of physics." As the team began to analyze the data from the test, reports started coming in from around the world. Astronomers reported strange phenomena in the night sky. Physicists detected unexplainable fluctuations in their experiments. Something fundamental had shifted in the universe, and humanity was at the center of it. The alien probe, its mission disrupted by the dimensional ripple, retreated from Earth's orbit. Its makers would soon receive data that would shake their civilizations to the core. In the days that followed, the mood in the facility was a mix of elation and trepidation. They had proven that their theory worked, that humans could indeed harness the power of the seventh dimension. But they had also announced their presence to the galaxy in a way that couldn't be ignored. Dr. Anna Petrova, the young Russian prodigy, summed it up during a team meeting. "We've rung a bell that can't be unrung," she said solemnly. "The question is, who's going to answer?" As if in response to her words, the facility's long-range sensors began picking up unusual activity in the outer solar system. Multiple objects, far larger than the probe, were approaching Earth at incredible speeds. Emily stood before her team, her face set with determination. "This is it," she said. "Everything we've worked for has led to this moment. Humanity is about to take its place on the galactic stage." She turned to look at the seventh dimension vessel, its hull still shimmering with residual energy from the test. "Prepare for full power-up," she ordered. "We're taking this ship out for a real spin." As the team rushed to their stations, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The first ripples in reality had been created, and now the wave was about to crash onto the shores of the cosmos. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. The seventh dimension vessel hung in Earth's orbit, its sleek form gleaming in the sunlight. Inside, Dr. Emily Chen stood on the bridge, surrounded by the best and brightest minds humanity had to offer. The mood was tense but excited as they prepared for their first official voyage into deep space. "All systems check complete," reported Dr. Jason Wong from his station. "We're ready for dimensional fold." Emily nodded, taking the deep breath. "Initiate fold sequence." As the ship's engines powered up, reality began to bend around them. Stars streaked across the view screen, transforming into a kaleidoscope of light and color. For a moment, everyone on board felt as if they were everywhere and nowhere at once. Then, suddenly, they emerged. The vessel now floated in an unfamiliar star system, light years from Earth. "Position confirmed," announced Dr. Aisha Mahmood, her voice filled with awe. "We've arrived at the coordinates of the Galactic Assembly." Before them loomed a massive space station, its architecture unlike anything humans had ever seen. Ships of various shapes and sizes swarmed around it, representing countless alien civilizations. As the seventh dimension vessel approached, a transmission came through. A holographic image of a Zorgon appeared on the bridge, its tentacles waving in agitation. "Unidentified vessel." The Zorgon spoke, its voice translated by the ship's computers. "You are entering restricted space. Identify yourself immediately." Emily stepped forward, her chin held high. "This is Dr. Emily Chen of the Earth vessel, Humanity's Hope. We come in peace and request permission to address the Galactic Assembly." The Zorgon's eyes widened in surprise. "Earth? But how did you?" "Impossible." As word spread through the station of the humans' arrival, chaos erupted. The Blurbans flickered in and out of visibility, their energy forms pulsing with excitement and fear. The Grax hurriedly convened an emergency council, debating how to approach this unexpected development. Meanwhile, on the Zorgon homeworld, Blurp the data analyst found himself suddenly thrust into the spotlight. His superiors, who had once laughed at his concerns, now demanded explanations. "I tried to tell you," Blurp said, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. "The humans were up to something big." Back at the Galactic Assembly, the human vessel was granted permission to dock. As Emily and her team prepared to disembark, she turned to address her crew. "Remember," she said, her voice firm, "we represent not just ourselves, but all of humanity. Let's show the galaxy what we're truly capable of." As they stepped onto the station, they were met with a mix of reactions. Some aliens recoiled in fear, others leaned in with curiosity. The humans were escorted to the main chamber, where representatives from countless civilizations had gathered. The supreme leader of the Zorgons, Psylop the Magnificent, was the first to speak. "Humans," he said, his voice booming through the chamber, "you stand accused of violating galactic law by developing technology beyond your approved level. How do you plead?" Emily stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "We plead not guilty. There is no law against progress, against pushing the boundaries of what's possible. We humans have achieved what you thought impossible, not through any violation, but through determination, creativity, and the unquenchable desire to explore." Her words caused a stir in the chamber. The Blurban elder spoke next, its form shimmering with curiosity. "But how did you unlock the secrets of the seventh dimension? Even we, with our mastery of energy, have not achieved this." "Because," Emily replied, "you had decided it was impossible. We hadn't." As the debate raged on, it became clear that the galaxy was divided. Some saw the humans as a threat, others as an opportunity. The Grax, in their wisdom, proposed a compromise. "Let the humans demonstrate their invention," the Grax ambassador suggested. "If they can prove its safety and value, perhaps we should welcome them as equals." Psylop scoffed. "Equals? These primitives." But the motion was passed. Emily and her team were given the chance to showcase the true power of the seventh dimension vessel. As they prepared for the demonstration, Emily couldn't help but smile. They had come so far, faced so many challenges. Now, standing on the galactic stage, they were ready to show the universe what humanity was truly capable of. Little did they know, This demonstration would change the course of galactic history forever. The Galactic Assembly watched with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity as the human team prepared their demonstration. Dr. Emily Chen stood at the helm of the seventh dimension vessel, her hand steady on the controls despite the weight of countless alien eyes upon her. "Are you sure about this?" Dr. Jason Wong whispered, his face tense with concern. Emily nodded, her eyes fixed on the view screen. "It's time to show them what we're capable of." With a deep breath, she activated the ship's dimensional drive. The vessel began to hum, its hull shimmering with energy that defied conventional physics. The assembled aliens leaned forward, their varied appendages gripping their seats in anticipation. Suddenly, reality itself seemed to bend. The space around the ship rippled like water, stars streaking and swirling in impossible patterns. Several of the blurbons flickered erratically, overwhelmed by the energy fluctuations. "By the cosmic winds," gasped the blurbon elder, its form pulsing with awe. The ship vanished from view, leaving the Galactic Assembly in stunned silence. Seconds ticked by, feeling like hours to the watching aliens. Xylop the Magnificent, supreme leader of the Zorgons, allowed a smug smile to cross his face. "It seems the humans have destroyed themselves with their own hubris," he began, but his words were cut short as the ship suddenly reappeared. It materialized not where it had been, but on the other side of the massive space station, having traversed an impossible distance in mere seconds. The hull of the vessel glowed with residual energy, small rifts in space-time opening and closing around it like blinking eyes. Emily's voice came through the communication channels, calm and clear. "As you can see, the seventh dimension vessel allows us to move not just through space, but through the very fabric of reality itself." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some crying out in fear, others in excitement. The Grax ambassador raised his hands, calling for calm. "Impressive," he admitted, "but what practical use does this technology have beyond faster travel?" Emily smiled. "Allow us to demonstrate further." With a series of complex maneuvers, the human team began to showcase the true potential of their invention. They created localized time dilation fields, temporarily aging a piece of fruit centuries in seconds. They generated pockets of alternate realities, showing glimpses of worlds where history had taken different paths. Most impressively, they demonstrated the vessel's ability to manipulate fundamental forces. With careful precision, they lifted an asteroid from a nearby field, moving it through space without engines or tractor beams, simply by warping the fabric of reality around it. As the demonstration continued, the mood in the Galactic Assembly shifted. Fear gave way to wonder, skepticism to excitement. Even Xylop found himself leaning forward, his earlier disdain replaced by grudging respect. But it was the final act that truly silenced all doubts. Emily's voice came through once more. "And now, we will attempt something never before seen in this galaxy." The seventh dimension vessel began to pulse with energy, waves of power radiating outward. The very stars seemed to shudder in response. For a moment, every being in the assembly felt a connection to something vast and incomprehensible. Then, with a flash of light that seared itself into the memory of every watching alien, a rift opened in space before the ship. It was a portal, a gateway to somewhere beyond the known universe. "We have opened a door to another dimension," Emily announced, her voice filled with pride and awe. "A realm of untold wonders and infinite possibilities." The Galactic Assembly fell into a hushed silence, broken only by the occasional gasp or murmur of disbelief. The humans had not just matched the technological prowess of the most advanced races in the galaxy, they had surpassed it in ways previously thought impossible. As the portal shimmered before them, a new reality dawned on the assembled aliens. The primitive humans, once a source of amusement and dismissal, now held the key to reshaping the very nature of existence. Xylop, his smugness long gone, was the first to speak. I believe we may have underestimated you, humans." Emily nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "That," she said, "is an understatement." As the demonstration concluded, it was clear to all that the balance of power in the galaxy had irrevocably shifted. The age of human obscurity was over. A new era was dawning, one where humanity would play a central role in shaping the destiny of the cosmos. The laughter had stopped, replaced by a mix of respect, fear, and eager anticipation for what these surprising creatures from Earth would do next. In the days following the humans' astounding demonstration, the galaxy buzzed with activity. The Galactic Assembly, once a bastion of established power, now found itself scrambling to adapt to a new reality, one where humanity stood at the forefront of cosmic advancement. Dr. Emily Chen sat in a grand chamber, surrounded by representatives from countless alien races. The room, once filled with dismissive chuckles at the mention of Earth, now hummed with a mix of respect, fear, and curiosity. Xylop the Magnificent, his tentacles now less animated, addressed the assembly. "We must decide how to proceed with our new friends from Earth." The Blurban elder flickered thoughtfully. "Perhaps it is time to reconsider the structure of our galactic community." Murmurs of agreement and protest rippled through the room. Emily stood, her presence commanding attention. "We didn't come here to dominate," she said, her voice clear and strong. "We came to join you, to share our knowledge, and to learn from you in return." Her words sparked intense debate. Some races, like the curious Grax, eagerly supported the idea of collaboration. Others, still wary of humanity's newfound power, argued for restrictions and safeguards. As discussions raged, changes were already rippling across the cosmos. On distant planets, news of the seventh dimension vessel inspired scientists and dreamers alike. In the Zorgan Empire, young Blurt found himself promoted to lead a new research division dedicated to understanding human technology. The Blurbans, once confident in their mastery of energy, now sought exchanges with Earth's physicists, eager to explore the new frontiers of science that humanity had unveiled. Even the wise Grax found themselves learning from humans, not just about technology, but about the power of imagination and the refusal to accept limitations. Back on Earth, the impact was equally profound. As knowledge of humanity's galactic debut spread, society transformed. Old conflicts seemed petty in the face of cosmic possibilities. A new age of unity and purpose dawned as humans realized their place in the greater universe. In orbit around Earth, a grand project took shape, a space station that would serve as a hub for interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. Aliens of all shapes and sizes worked alongside humans, building a symbol of a new era of cooperation. Months passed, filled with intense negotiations, technological exchanges, and the occasional misunderstanding. Emily and her team worked tirelessly, bridging gaps between vastly different cultures and ways of thinking. Finally, on a day that would be remembered throughout the galaxy, a new charter was signed. The Galactic Assembly was reformed into the Cosmic Confederation, with Earth granted a seat of honor among the founding members. As Emily put her name to the document, she couldn't help but smile at the memory of how it all began, with laughter at humanity's expense. Xylop, standing beside her, seemed to read her thoughts. "I must admit," he said, his voice humbled, "the joke was on us all along." Emily nodded, her eyes twinkling. The greatest discoveries often come when you dare to challenge the impossible. With the new order established, humanity's adventures were just beginning. The seventh dimension vessel, now joined by a growing fleet of ships, set out to explore the farthest reaches of the universe and beyond. They discovered wonders that defied imagination. Ancient artifacts of long-lost civilizations, planets with physics that bent the rules of reality, and life forms that existed in multiple dimensions at once. But perhaps the greatest discovery was the power of unity. Races that had once looked down on humans now stood beside them as equals, pooling their knowledge and strengths to face the unknown together. As Emily stood on the bridge of the flagship, Humanity's Hope, ready to embark on another journey into the unknown, she reflected on how far they had come. From a species dismissed as primitive to key players in a grand cosmic adventure, The laughter had indeed stopped, replaced by a symphony of diverse voices working in harmony. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, it had helped reshape the very nature of galactic society. As the ship prepared to enter the swirling portal of the seventh dimension, Emily gave the command to proceed. The cosmos lay before them, full of endless possibilities, waiting to be explored. And in that moment, every human on board knew one thing for certain: this was only the beginning of their greatest adventure.